I'm going to walk through this cursor Jupyter Notebook MCP server and show how it can help overcome a limitation that cursor has with editing Jupyter Notebook cells. I'm sure it'll be a feature they cover at some point, but didn't want to wait, and because I like working in Jupyter Notebooks. So you can see here there's this package, Cursor Notebook MCP on PyPy. You can see how to install it. There's also a GitHub repo here, jbeno/cursor notebook MCP, and kind of walks through what it does. The main thing here that you need to know are what are all the different tools that it makes available, and it's pretty comprehensive. You can basically create notebooks, edit notebooks, cells, manipulate cells, transform things, and export stuff. So there's a lot of good stuff in there, and it seemed to make it easier from my experience. So let's go take a look at the problem. So I've got an empty project here. I've got a notebooks directory. I created a virtual environment using UV called notebooks. I've got really nothing in here. And I'm just going to go and see, I'm in agent mode. I've got Gemini 2.5 Pro, and I'm going to go ask it to create a notebook that is a tutorial explaining singular value decomposition. Include, explanatory text and markdown, and demonstrate using code and charts. And let's see what it can do. Okay, it's thinking. It's going to create a file, svd tutorial. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, you can see it used this edit file tool to create this, right? Now it's going to add some sections. Let's see how it goes. Right, use this file editor. Seems to have been an issue applying the changes. Let me try reapplying the edit. Seems to have been an issue. Reapplying seems to have been an issue. Thought. Looks like the initial file creation didn't succeed. My apologies for that. Yep. So, maybe I'll go and add some stuff here. Singular value decomposition. Decomposition. This is a tutorial on SVD. Oh, it's trying to do something. Looks like the initial, my apologies. I'll create it again. Okay. Well, let's tell it to stop. Okay, so this is a tutorial on SVD. Now we need to choose our environment. Oh, I didn't make that markdown cell. I know there's a quicker way of doing that. I'm not sure what that is. Okay. And, let's just see if we can do something there. So I'll say, okay, I started the notebook. I put in some markdown text. Now I'll go edit that and add some code. Let's see how it responds. Sees the structure, has a title markdown, 2 empty code cells, so I was able to read that, and goes to apply the changes. It seems that it didn't apply again. Let me try. All right, so alternatively, I can provide the JSON content, right? So normally what I would have to do is this, okay, just give me the cell contents here, and I'll paste them in. Now, let's just see. I know there is another way of doing this, right? You can go into each cell and basically go Command K and say, you know, what is this first thing it's doing? It's, I could do it up here. Let's get out of this one. I could go up here and I could say, show the mathematical formula for SVD and Markdown. Right? So you can do this. You can go into each cell and then, you get it, kind of. It's kind of big, and I can go over here and I can say, write a simple function that demonstrates SVD. Right? I've picked the cell and an inline will go and generate this. Okay? That's fine. But sometimes you're in dialogue with the agent telling you what to do and you don't want to, like, this is what I would have to do. I'd have to come over here. You could, I guess, apply. I don't even know where it applies, but you could go copy and then, put it in here that way. And that takes a lot of time. So let's show a better way, right? Let's get out of this world. What are we going to do? We're going to close this chat. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to delete this. And let's go take a look at the package. So, pip install Cursor Notebook MCP, right? So we're using UV. Let's go install it. And I may have had some of the dependencies installed already in this environment, so it didn't show that, but it would have installed some dependencies if they weren't there. There's definitely some dependencies. So if I do Cursor Notebook MCP, and let's pull up the help, and let's make this a little bit bigger. So there's a couple parameters here, and we're going to do Cursor Notebook MCP. We're going to do transport SSE, because we're going to start up an SSE service instead of trying to do the standard IO. And then we're going to do, let's just specify a log level, debug, and allow root. Basically, this is just a security safety thing to define like what is the largest level of your file system that it can edit, the highest level. So I'm going to do, I think it's users git. I can do notebooks. It all depends. I think that's the path. And, the port, let's just call it out since it's helpful sometimes instead of just relying on the defaults, right? It's going to be on port 8080. Really, all you need to do is specify transport SSE and your allow root, and everything else can go with the defaults. But let's start it up and see if it works. Okay, so it's running now, and now what we need to do is configure it. So we go to cursor settings, MCP, and we see that nothing's configured. We're going to click add, which pulls up the mcp.json, and we'll go to the GitHub repo, right? jbeno/cursor notebook MCP. We scroll down and somewhere here. Okay, so for SSE, which is what we're doing, which I think is the simplest, right? We can just copy this. What I found is that I've used standard IO. There's all sorts of things like you need to make sure that cursor has access to all the dependencies that this requires when it invokes it, and you either have to configure this so that it you either launch cursor from within the virtual environment, and you can do that by activating your virtual environment, then using where is it? Cursor dot. I think I have that in here somewhere. Yeah. Right. Saying activate your virtual environment and then launch cursor from that same environment, right? From the terminal, you go to cursor, you go to that directory and type in cursor dot, it'll launch it, inherits that environment. That to me seemed the simplest way to avoid any of the environmental issues. The other way is you could configure it so that the command that it runs is something that invokes the virtual environment and then runs the server, right? But I think it's easier just to do it this way. So I copied that code, and what I'm going to do is paste that in here. And the name of this is Notebook MCP. I think it's best to align with that, but I think you can call it something different. And all it needs is the URL, right? And it's running on port 8080, as we saw, /SSE. That's it. And we save it. And you can see when we did that, right, there was some traffic down here. Wow, really? All that? Yeah. So basically that's it, figuring out what all the tools are. And I guess there's a lot of them. Maybe it did it more than once. But we can minimize this a little bit. Might be handy to just watch it to verify things are happening. Now, if we go over here to MCP servers, we got the green light on Notebook MCP. We can see all the tools, right? Notebook create creates a new empty Jupyter notebook. Notebook delete. Notebook rename, notebook edit cell, replaces the source content of a specific cell, right? Add cell, delete cell, right? There's a lot of stuff in there. The other thing that I think is good here is if you go back to the repo, somewhere here, suggested cursor rules. So I went through and tested things with this notebook and with cursor, and there were some things that I found out were supported and were not. But the main thing that this puts in here is this instruction to use only the Notebook MCP tools for any Jupyter Notebook creation or cell operations. Never use edit file. So let's see if this works. We're going to go over here, paste those in. And we will then save that, I guess. Is it saved? We can get rid of this. And probably get rid of that. All right, so now this thing is running. Let's bring our little assistant back and let's start a new chat. And so now we're going to ask the same thing. We're going to say create Jupyter Notebook. Well, what did I say before? Say create a notebook that explains singular value decomposition. I think I said use Markdown to explain things and use code and charts to demonstrate it. I think I kept it as simple as that. Let's see if we can do it now. And I'll load it once it creates the file so we can watch what it's doing. Now you see, call it MCP tool. Really fast already. Next, I'll add some markup. You can see the log down here as it's doing this. Okay. Again, this is good, right? Because I want to go correct things with that super huge font, and we'll see how well it's able to edit. But we see we've got cells coming in here. I mean, it's just spitting them out. Thinking, composing, and then calling the tool to insert it. So, already we're making a lot more progress than we did first time around. Okay. 2D example. Yeah, I don't know what it's going to put here or when it's going to stop, but I always was fascinated by SVD, so we'll see how it teaches us here. Now I'm going to have to install a bunch of libraries. Maybe I should start doing that while it's doing this. No, we'll do it as we go. But you can see, there's a ton of tools being called here. I mean, and I mean, yeah, I don't know. I was happy when I saw this the first time. It was like, oh, finally, I can have it build a notebook and edit a notebook, which literally was painful before. It was very painful. And you can do it in VS Code. I don't know why I believe you can do it in VS Code. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, this completes the notebook. Wonderful. Beautiful job. I would say you definitely get high marks for that. But it's not perfect. So let's hide this terminal window so we can see things a little bit better. All right, and I'm going to say, all right, great job. I'll say it looks like some of the mathematical definitions are in large font. And I see, /n popping up. Please fix the markdown. I'll just say please fix. And hopefully it'll now read it and figure out where the problem is and then fix just those cells. All right. So it read a cell. Okay, I see the double backslashes. Boom, fixed it. Look at that. I mean, is there any other ones that have the problem? I mean, it's already like way ahead of me. Which one is he on? Okay. Yeah, formatting does look better now. I mean, that was a great job. All right, let's try running it now and see. Let's see how this works. So I'm going to have to select a kernel, I think. Oh, let's get into some code. Prompt me to select display name equals notebooks. I always make them the same. Let's see if this works. Okay. So let's go see if we're able to run this now. Okay, it ran. Let's go run the next one. Great. We ran this one. Let's construct this matrix. At some point, I'm probably going to hit something. Okay, now we got a chart, and it worked. Applications. Okay, no module named SciPy. So let's do a test. I know what I need to do here, but I'm just going to play dumb. I'll say I ran into an error. And by the way, you didn't see it, but I saved. After I executed that cell, I saved it. Because if it's not saved, sometimes it auto-saves, but if it's not saved, it won't see the output. I'm saying, I ran into an error, can you help me debug? Again, playing dumb, I just want to see, can it go in here and see the cell output? And I'll just say, I don't know why it's not looking. Just look into the notebook. Okay, so it's doing notebook read, but it could do. Just installed it for me. Okay, thank you. There is a way to. There is a tool to read the cell output. And maybe a better prompting would allow it to do that. But it read the whole notebook. Okay. I'll say, let's demonstrate that tool. There's a cell output tool that helps. But I ran into another error. Please resolve. Okay, and you can see notebook read cell output. Okay, the error is import error, right? Missing. So just demonstrating that there are these tools. Maybe better cursor rules would make it more explicit about which tools to use. Looks like it just fixed this by installing Pooch. And I probably need to. Where am I? Let's restart the environment just because I'm not sure if it actually did that. Restart it, go from the top. Okay. Downloading file face.dat. All right. We got a raccoon. Let's continue. All right. Okay, great. We got well, one error, so we can. And I'm saving. Command S. So okay, great. It's past that dependency issue, but now I see another error. Please investigate. I wanted to find the error. Read cell output is the tool. Which is interesting. That could be a lot of data, or maybe that's to target which cell it is. Okay, I got the outputs for both cells, 14 and 15. However, there's a syntax error, right? It saw it. Now, it just changed something. Do you see that flash? This isn't a critical error, but it's good practice to fix it. What did it do? To use the raw string. Okay. So it updated this cell. Oh, all right. I'll say we got another error. Again, I'm not trying to help it. I wanted to rely on the tools. Oh, come on. Take some initiative. Please investigate. Lazy. I got a lazy Gemini. A lazy agent. Seems there's a name error. Okay, fixes to make cell 15 consistent with cell, right? So it just made an edit. All right, let's go change. We got another error. I'm doing a save with my keys. Ran into another error. Right, and I mean, I guess, sometimes, often when we have these things, right, you just copy the error, dump it in there. But what's faster, doing that or asking it to investigate? Again, I'm trying to demonstrate the tools. Okay. And I made an edit up here. Let's try again. All right. That ran. Awesome. So let's we've got a few functions in here. Now let's just try another test here, right? Let's say okay, how many functions do we have? Not too many, but I'll just say okay, please add NumPy style docstrings to all the functions in the notebook with a lot of details. And what we should see is a docstring pop in here. And I'm telling you, like, this wouldn't be possible with cursor in its default state. We would never even get that far. It's trying to find the cell. Okay, so it's having a little trouble figuring out which cell. Okay, now it's got the full notebook structure. Start by reading cell 11, adding the doc string. Plot vectors. Where's plot? Oh, okay, there's plot. There we saw it come in. There was another one, I guess. I missed it. Where was plot vectors? Okay, but that's cool, right? We saw some things in here. Now let's test some things. Let's test some other capabilities. What do I want to say? Split the cell that has the sigma matrix and the reconstruction to two cells. Let's see if we can figure that out. Cell 15. Oh, maybe there's another. Is there another cell that it's split? So it is. So it misinterpreted what I was saying and ended up splitting it weird. And that created like some indentation that doesn't make sense. So I'm going to tell it to actually undo that. Undo that split. Doesn't make sense. That'll be interesting if you can do that. Oh, look at that. much better. As good, it was able to do that, right? What else can we do? I'll say, add a cell at the bottom with a placeholder function with placeholder, docstring. Okay, we got a placeholder function. And now I can tell it, duplicate that cell, 5 times. Notebook duplicate cell. There we go. We've got it duplicated. So hopefully you get the idea. I think you can do a lot more in, working with an agent. It has some autonomy and now creating notebooks and editing these things in response to your commands or upon taking its own initiative. Maybe a little bit of fine tuning in the cursor rules or the prompting so it knows to kind of take the initiative would help. But yeah, it's working. Now let's try some other things. Let's try exporting this notebook to a Python file. There's a tool for that. Notebook export. And now we have SVT explanation py. We go over to that. And basically everywhere there was markdown, it's just commented out. And we've got all the functions outside of that notebook structure, which is nice. So, yeah, hopefully that shows you what you can now do with this Jupyter Notebook MCP server. And I'm curious how long until the Cursor team adds in support for this. I'm sure this will be covered by them at some point, and this will no longer be necessary. But this has really helped me kind of get over the hump and work in notebooks with Cursor agents that I wasn't able to do until this. So if you've got ideas, or you run into issues, questions, come into here, submit an issue. If you want to build on this, by all means do. Feel free to tweak some things, do a pull request, or if you want to fork it and build on it, you can do that as well. Just wanted to put that out there because I found it valuable for me. Thanks, everyone. Hope you enjoy it.